Dear brothers and sisters, it's election time, and what are we experiencing? Social division and chaos. And when I think about it, the more grateful I am that I have come into the Catholic Church. Now, we all know that things can get kind of crazy and what have you in the Catholic Church. But I appreciate its hierarchy. I appreciate its centuries of social and moral and spiritual teaching that we're really rich within the structure that God created in the Apostolic Church. Now, given that, we have to look at our passages in the scriptures this weekend. We have the children of Israel in the desert. Wow. They were not happy. It was chaos. Uncontrollable. Sound familiar? Well, what God did was this. He told Moses, I'm going to have you call together 70 elders, and I'm going to give a part of the Spirit which has been given to you and place this upon the 70 so that they can, within this hierarchy and this structure, bring order to the chaos. Well, so the 70 were ordered to go outside the camp to where the tent of meeting was. And all of them but two obeyed. Eldad and Medad did not show up. Why didn't they show up? They stayed in the camp. They sleep in. Maybe they had a bad attitude. We don't have any idea. But they were not in the right place and they were not obedient. And yet when the Spirit of God came down on the 68, it also fell on those two in the camp. And they were prophesying like all the other ones. Joshua, Moses' bulldog, noticed this and complained. He said, hey, listen, Moses, these people are not obedient. They're not living within the structure that God has created. And what do we do about it? And Moses says, don't do anything about it at all. As a matter of fact, he said, are you jealous for my sake? Hey, I wish everybody had the Spirit of God. And this passage really becomes sort of the beginnings of what will become Pentecost. Something similar is happening with Jesus. Jesus has his apostolic band. He's training these men in a hierarchy for the church. And there was found a man who was casting out devils in the name of Jesus. Evidently, he's pretty successful within the same context of the chapter. The disciples couldn't do that, and Jesus reprimanded them because of their lack of faith. So John, I guess he was Jesus' bulldog, like Joshua was to Moses. He goes, tells Jesus, and Jesus says, don't bother about it, okay? Whoever does such things in my name, he can't be against me. So these two passages, though they're very small, in the scheme of things are huge ecclesiology, in an ecclesial way, okay? Because it really is show that God works with structures. He works in hierarchy. It's great for me to come in and know that there's people over me. It's great to be obedient, to be under the cover of someone. I love that. The world doesn't really like that. They like the chaos, but of doing things their own way. But it's very, very important. And yet, the Spirit of God is not limited to his own structure that he created. He's free to do whatever he does with people outside. So we live in a tension. I think we have to really, really appreciate what we have been given as Catholics. In some ways, it'd be kind of nice if every Catholic was a convert like me to appreciate what we have in the church, right? Unfortunately, as people who are born and raised in the church that have not really grasped the beauty and the wonder and the awe and the depths and the riches of the Catholic Church, and they go off into Protestant churches out there. The Spirit of God is out there because he's not constrained. So we live in a tension. We are to invite people in. We are to pray for unity. And we should not be arrogant with what we have. We should be humble, realizing that, God, the Spirit of God is doing some cool things out there. But we also have to realize that when you're outside the church, outside of what God has created, there's always that something missing. And that is what I found as I came into the Catholic Church. I was done with protesting. It's so nice to be not protesting anymore. So I hope that what I've just talked to you about makes sense. It's important, I think, right? Don't you agree? Well, pray for Father Patrick and I as we make a homily on this week. And we'll see you there in church, okay? God bless.